So, hello everybody. Welcome again to this wonderful treat that we have every week now with Leonie Wright, thinking about very healthy recipes for eating well and eating nutritiously. I had my own go at the linseed crackers that she proposed. I've now got at least half a ton of seeds in my cupboard, mixture of seeds, which I bought from the online shop that she recommended, and made my first attempt this morning with mixed results, but I have something that I can definitely eat with soup, and they are delicious what I've produced. I'm not going to show you because I'm not particularly proud of them, but they are at least an attempt on my behalf, and encouraged by Leonie. So lots of love for what we're doing here, which is really nice. And I'm going to hand over to Leonie, who's going to tell us what she's going to make for us today.
Thank you, Tricia. Welcome to the Eatwright kitchen. So today we're going to make two recipes. One is a snack, ideal for tea or coffee time. It's a chocolate muffin. So I'll make that second. And firstly, I'll start off with a prawn and ginger with mushrooms stir fry. Now, your request last week, Tricia, was to have something with salmon. So I just want to say to the viewers that you can replace the prawn with salmon. So that's what I'm going to do today. It's really easy. Stir fries are so easy to make because often if you are short of time, you can just buy a bag of stir fry vegetables in the supermarket store, have your fish or chicken and mix it together. Today I've put a bit more effort in, otherwise we would be finished in 5 minutes. So the ingredients are, the original recipe is for 4 people, but I have halved it because I know a lot of people are living with 2 or even 1. So it's for 2 people, and I've used about 260 grams of organic salmon. I know you're a big fan of salmon, aren't you, Tricia?
Yes, I do. I do eat salmon about 3 times a week. I feel that gives me a good level of omega-3, which is very important. And I understand that, from everything that I've read, that is a very good source of essential nutrients when you're older. So oily fish, basically.
Absolutely. What's also very good, maybe if people like it, is sardine and anchovies. They are at the start of the fish chain. They're very small and they're very fatty and they're high in omega-3. So maybe we can make a fish pate sometime in the next couple of weeks if people would like to do that. So ingredients, salmon. Then I've used mixed mushrooms, about 200 grams. These are also, mushrooms have got great medicinal purposes. I've used 1 carrot, which I have sliced up in little slices. Then in goes some red pepper. We talked about red pepper when we make the cauliflower soup, really full of vitamin C, something that we really need to boost our immune system. Then I have sugar snaps, about 100 grams. All the amounts will be in the recipe. I'm using soya sauce. I have some baking powder, sesame seeds, fresh ginger. Ginger is one of the best spices you can have. It's got enormous benefits. Did you know about the benefits of ginger, Tricia?
My knowledge of ginger is that it's a very useful thing when you're feeling sick.
Yes,
it's an anti-emetic, and I know that when you have early morning sickness in pregnancy, even eating something like a ginger biscuit, it sounds strange, but I had early morning sickness with my second pregnancy, and all I could eat was toast. It's like you need carbohydrate, you need something like that, and as I said, I've seen that even ginger biscuits can be helpful under those circumstances. So
yeah, absolutely, that's one of the things. It's also very good for well, as you said, for digestion. It's really good for that. It's anti-inflammatory and also very good for people who suffer from osteoarthritis. And there are a lot of women and men in older age who suffer from it. It's such a really good spice. We should eat it at least 2 or 3 times a week if we can, and preferably raw, not in the powder form. And what you can also do is make a lovely drink with it. So you can make yourself a ginger tea. So to get more ginger, if that's what you want. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make the sauce. So I'm going to turn the laptop down so that you can see what I'm doing. Let me see, there we are. So these are all the ingredients I've made for the sauce. I have boiled some water with a stock cube, about 1/4 of a stock cube. This is chicken, but you can use vegetable as well, or you can use fish. Now to that, I'm going to add my sesame seeds. Then I'm going to add the ginger. I've been very generous with myself with ginger. I love ginger, so I've put a lot in there, and I think it gives a really nice flavor to the dish. Then I'm using some soya sauce. I go for the low salt one. It is available in supermarkets. It's just that the salty one, there is too much salt in it, I think. That's my opinion. But if you do like salt, please, by all means, do that. And then this is some cornflour, just to thicken the sauce. So you mix everything together, and you just leave that to stand for a couple of minutes, because we'll come back to that once we have stir-fried the fish and the vegetables. So I'm just leaving that aside over here. Then I've cut everything up just to speed things up, and then I'm going over to the cooker. If you start cooking a stir fry, ideally you can use a wok, which is really good, or a big saucepan. That's entirely up to you. So you don't necessarily need to have a wok. So I'm going to heat this on a medium heat, and I'll start with putting some extra virgin olive oil in. We talked about that before. Never heat it too much, because then it becomes damaging for the body, becomes toxic. So the first thing I'm going to fry is the carrots, which I've sliced up very thinly. I just used 1 large carrot. Then I'll just give that a little bit of a stir fry. And then I'm going to add some mushrooms. I absolutely love mushrooms. I particularly like it with breakfast as well. Okay, and then I'm going to put, the pan is just heating up, so that takes a couple of minutes. I'm also putting some sugar snaps. Starting to sizzle now. So this just takes a couple of minutes. So starts to sizzle, so we'll be fine with that now. Mushrooms we talked about, they're really, really good for you. They're very rich in nutrients and low in calories. So that's a really good ingredient and full of antioxidants, and also a good form of protein. And they are used for medicinal purposes, especially in Chinese medicine. And it's a great source of selenium. Vitamin D, also something that we really need nowadays, and it can protect us against cancer. And also it's very good for the health. So that's the reason why I use many of the ingredients. I mean, all vegetables and fruits have their beneficial purposes.
Last week you were showing us that when you prepare mushrooms, this is for anybody who didn't see that, you just wipe them and then you cut them with the skin on and also the stalk, although you take the end of the stalk off where they've been growing into the ground. And I was very impressed with that, because I find mushrooms quite fiddly to prepare, but I always strip off that outer layer, and then I always take the stalk off. So I'm just left with the mushroom bell, so to speak. And so I was impressed with that, because I am such a lazy cook that anything that saves me time and mess is a big plus for me. So that's a tip.
There's a lot of vegetables and fruits, the actual nutrients and the goodness is often in the skin. And people tend to take that off, which is such a shame. I mean, when we made the soup, we talked about the cauliflower and the stalks. I used them in a stir fry, actually. I didn't throw the green leaves away, because they are so full of calcium, and it's such a waste. We can eat most of it. I once was in a supermarket store in the US, and they were making a soup with potatoes in there. And they put the whole skin in. They just washed the potatoes. Everything went in with the whole skin, and it's just amazing. So this is now nicely cooked. What I'm going to do is just turn it out. So in order to cook the fish, I'm going to take this out. This you need to stir fry for about 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm going to take this out. This will be a dinner for me and my husband tonight. All sorted.
He must love it when you're doing these cookery demonstrations.
Oh,
although
yeah.
you probably cook him something delicious every day, do you?
I tend to cook most of the time myself because I love it. Actually, I had a discussion with somebody about takeaways. Do you have takeaways, Tricia?
Never, no. I literally, because I suppose takeaways for one, you know, it's a bit pathetic. And honestly, I don't like the idea. It's just something I don't do. I've never done it.
No, I never do. In Holland, where I grew up, people didn't know about takeaways. So my mum would always make something fresh.
We didn't have takeaways when we didn't have takeaways when we were children. I mean, the nearest to a takeaway was fish and chips. So we had a fantastic fish and chip shop in our town, and you queue up on a Friday night.
Sorry, Tricia.
I said, you know, fish and chips was a tradition on a Friday, and you know, you'd queue up and you'd get your fish and chips wrapped up in a newspaper and take it home, and oh, it was absolutely delicious.
In Holland, we have chips, but when we have chips, it is not with fish. It's with all sorts of little snacks, like little meatballs or ragu things. I don't know if you ever tried them, but they're little balls that are filled with some potato mash, and they are absolutely gorgeous. So for me, when I came in the UK, fish and chips was a very strange thing to have. Right, I'm going to put in the peppers. Then I have cut up some garlic as well. You see, and the advantage of having prawns or salmon is that it cooks really quickly. It's really quick. I talked to you about this last time when you're in my kitchen and you smell the smells. It's like beautiful. It's such a shame that that doesn't come across on camera. So you keep just stirring this till the fish is sort of colored on the outside, because when you put in the other ingredients, it will still be cooking. So you don't need to cook it too much. So I'm returning this to the dish. And look at all the colors in this.
It's very colourful, and I was just sitting here thinking, gosh, that's a huge amount of food. But of course, it's all vegetables, isn't it?
Yeah, and often we tend to. I mean, me and my husband, we would eat half. It's mainly fresh vegetables, and then some protein, of course, in the fish. But we would eat half of this because a lot of people don't tend to eat enough vegetables. So to incorporate more vegetables in your diet, it's always a good idea to have it for dinner or lunch, or yeah, this is just one way. Okay, now we have made the sauce before. This is now nicely mixed, and I'm now going to put that over it, mix that all together.
So that's got a little bit of thickening agent in it, in the cornflour, hasn't it? So it just makes it slightly thicker sauce.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you want to put more soya sauce in, you can do that. It's very easy. So this is I would put this another 2 minutes on here and put a lid on the top before it is ready, because you need to sort of cook it a little bit. So that's very simple. It's a salmon stir fry with mushrooms and ginger, which you can also make with prawns, of course. Now, I don't know, Tricia, when you eat like a Chinese dish, would you eat that with noodles or pasta, or
Yeah, if I was in a Chinese restaurant, which I haven't been for a very long time, yeah, I do like noodles, rice. I don't know. I think it was me, again, because I'm lazy. I'd probably just eat that as it is with the vegetables and the salmon. I'm not sure I would bother with anything else to have with it. That would be enough for me, honestly. It would be enough food for me.
Yeah, well, you can also remember, if you make it for 2 people, you can cut it in half or in 3 portions, and you can freeze it in, or you can keep it in the fridge for a couple of days. So I asked that question about the noodles because there is another way that you can have your stir fries or even your pasta, is to make courgette. Have you ever made courgette?
No, I do know what courgette is. Strands of courgette. I can't say that I've been particularly excited about the prospect, partly because courgettes are mostly water and they're very tasteless things as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, you convince me, Leonie, you show me and convince me that
okay. So how I would eat it is with courgette, if I think there is more place for more vegetables. So what I have is a spiralizer. It looks a bit like a pencil sharpener. This is ideal for 1. So I'm just going to show you how easy this is to make for 1 person. So I have a courgette. Now, to be fair, this courgette is a little bit too big. So I'm going to cut a bit off. And then I'm going to spiralize this through my machine just as you do with the pencil sharpener.
So where did you get that spiralizer from?
Online.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I am lying because there used to be a wonderful cookery shop in my village where I live, but they disappeared. So, but they can buy it online. I can send people the link if they want. The brand name is called Geifu, but I can send you the link. So then I just cut this off as well. So this is then a nice base for the dish.
Can you just spell the name of that?
Of course I can. I'm going to look it up to be precise. So it's Geifu.
Geifu.
Yeah, Geifu, and it's a spiralizer.
Okay, and can you spiralize other vegetables?
Yes, you can. You can do cucumber, you can do carrots. The vegetable, of course, has to be fairly hard, not hot, because otherwise it just becomes pulp. But definitely carrots and cucumber would work as well. Yeah, you can maybe even things like parsnips, if that's what you want. I don't know if you do, but I don't think I would do that. But I use this, and then I use cauliflower for rice, so as an alternative.
All right, thank you. That's all good tips.
Yeah, okay. Do you want me to show you the end result?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So, right, so we have the courgette, and then I'm going to put a little bit of this on the top.
So you don't cook the courgette. So is that cold?
That's a really good question. What I normally do, so I've spiralized it, I put it in a colander, and I put boiling water over it to make it warm. So because if you make it too hot, it will become watery. As you said very correctly, courgette is full of water. So that's what I normally would do.
Okay.
Yeah, but just for purposes today, I'm just going to do it like this because I don't want to mess in the kitchen at this particular moment with boiling water.
No, sure. But that's a good tip. So just pop it in the colander, pour boiling water over it so it's warm, and then put your stir fry on top.
Thank you for reminding me, Tricia. So let me just show you what the end result is. Right, and then you can see what a lovely plate this is. And there you have it. Look at it. It's wonderful. So it's all vegetables, got your protein, your good fats. So it's an absolutely wonderful dish. Right. Lovely. So that's that one. Dinner sorted for tonight. And now I'm going to make the chocolate muffins.
Chocolate muffins sounds absolutely delicious.
It's delicious and it's so easy to make. So, right, it's now time for the chocolate muffins, and you'll be surprised to make muffins without eggs. Have you ever made anything bakery, cooking, that hasn't got eggs in it, in a cake or a muffin?
I think years ago, didn't we used to make Black Forest cherry gâteau without eggs? I think it was one of those 70s things, and I've got a feeling that was eggless. And so it made a very particular kind of sponge. And then, of course, you put a lot of cream on it, which is when you got your fat. Or was it, did you make it without butter? I can't remember what you made it without.
I never made a Black Forest gâteau. I think that was before my time. And also, to be honest, I don't like cherries and chocolate. Okay. So I've never tried it.
It was missing some vital ingredient. I can't remember whether it was eggs. Anyway. Carry on, Leonie. No, I haven't. Let me answer the question. No, I've never made it.
Okay. Well, I was surprised when I first saw this recipe, and I was like, oh, okay, there's no egg in it, and I tried it out. So let me show you what the ingredients are. I'm using here almond flour. You can readily buy that in a health food store, so that's available. Then I'm using some oats. They are gluten-free oats, better for your gut. So that's what I try to do. Look after my gut is very important. 80% of your health comes from your gut. Then I have some raw cacao powder. I have some erythritol sugar. Now, that might be something that many of the viewers might not know what it is. Have you heard of erythritol sugar, Tricia?
No, I haven't.
No. Okay, well, erythritol is a sugar alcohol. It's better for your blood sugar level, so it doesn't raise your blood sugar level. It's not a carbohydrate. So especially for people who need to look after their sugar intake or are diabetes 1 or 2, this is a very good alternative to normal sugar. It's got no calories in it either, and it doesn't go into your digestive system. It's absorbed straight in the bloodstream, so it's very much better. And it's the same quantities of sugar that you know that you need as erythritol. It's not artificial, so it is made of fermented fruit particles among them. And there is a company that I can recommend if you want, if ladies or viewers are interested. I use a brand called Sucrin One, which is available online through Amazon. So that is what I use in most of my recipes.
Okay, that's really interesting. So wherever you need sugar and you're baking, you would tend to use this. Okay, we'll definitely put the link to that on the bit underneath.
Yeah,
the video.
That's great. Okay, now and the other ingredients is courgette again, just a little bit, and I'm using half a banana, and then I have some melted coconut oil here as well. So I'll start off, I'll just show you what I'm going to do first. Right, I'll start off by grating the courgette. This is about 50 grams. It's just to give the muffin some moisture. And I realized last night when I was in bed thinking about this recipe that this is actually a vegan recipe. So it's got no animal products in here. So if you're vegan, you can make this recipe as well.
Absolutely. It's interesting putting a vegetable in baking, because in the war, when they didn't have very much sugar and stuff, they used to put carrots into cake, didn't they? That was the original thing, and that was to add sweetness, but obviously it also added texture and fiber and stuff. So quite
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, of course, the sweetness is, I use half a banana, is with the mashed banana. So you have some fruits and some vegetables together, which is fantastic. There's a little bit of a brown bit, which I will not use. The disadvantage of a banana, they turn brown so quickly. So I'm just mashing this up. And I put the courgettes into the coconut oil. And now I'm putting the bananas in as well.
You said earlier on something about that coconut oil. You said you'd done something with it, or it had changed in some way. What did you say?
Yeah, well, coconut oil, when you buy it in the store, often it's hard.
Okay.
What I've done is I have melted it, so it becomes a liquid.
So how have you melted it?
I melt it either in the oven or I melt it in the microwave.
Okay.
You can put it in a pan as well on the hob if you want to do that, that's fine too. Right, so I've mixed then the courgette with the banana. And now I'm going to put, first of all, the dry ingredients in a bowl. Just needed to wipe my hands there. So I'm starting with the almond flour. So for people who have gluten issues, this is a really good recipe as well. Then the gluten-free oats. Then I'm putting in the raw cacao. Now, if you buy cacao powder, make sure it is raw and organic, because that has got lots of magnesium in here, which is very beneficial for your health, especially when you become older, for your bones. This is the sugar I use, so not a lot.
So it really does look like sugar, that.
It does absolutely look like sugar, I can show you, yeah. Okay. And then this is some baking powder. You can use gluten-free if you want to keep it completely gluten-free. So I'm just going to mix this up. It's all mixed together. And then I'm going to pour this in here. And give this a good stir. Now, it becomes a sort of doughy, it sort of sticks together, which is fantastic. It's very simple, and this is a recipe that you can make with your children or grandchildren if you want. It's a fun thing to do, and it's pretty simple. So I've mixed all that up together. I'm going to put it in a muffin tray. Last week, Tricia, you said you wanted to maybe invest in a muffin tray. I've just thought, well, what I should mention, if you do want to invest in a muffin tray, buy one that is silicone.
Yeah.
It's nice and flexible. And the advantage is, if you want to take a cake out, you can just push it out like that. Often I find with cakes, they stick to the sides. And the advantage of this is that you can just, just get them out easier.
I've got one in France, so I need to bring it back with me.
Yeah. So what I'm doing now is I'm filling each hole up with a mixture. And make sure that you press it in properly, because otherwise it will fall apart. But it will stick together because of the coconut oil, of course. I'm rushing it a bit, but you can see once you press it in, it's all done.
I'm quite impressed. That's quite a loose mixture in a way. It hasn't really combined, but you're saying it doesn't matter. That's absolutely fine.
No, it's absolutely fine. As long as when you put it in, what you see me do is that you press it down with your spoon.
Yeah, okay.
Like that. So then it becomes firm. And because you have this silicone tray, it makes it really easy to get it out.
And squeeze them out, yeah.
Yeah, you squeeze them out.
So you never have to grease those silicone trays. You don't have to put anything in there to.
No, you don't. No.
To help release them. Okay.
Not really. No, I put sometimes, if I know it's a very sticky mixture, that there is a risk that it is going to stick on the side, I do sometimes put in some like a coconut oil, depending on what I am making, or maybe some olive oil, something like that. Okay. Right, so that's it. It's very simple. Want to use everything up. Like you see that by just pressing it down, it becomes a nice muffin.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so this goes in the oven. I will put it in the oven now. You preheat the oven of 180 degrees. So I'll put that in there. That goes in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on the temperature, on 180 degrees Celsius. So I don't want you to hang on. So I've made some last night. As you said, my husband is so pleased with me because he gets all to eat all these nice things. So this is what the end result is.
Wow, they look gorgeous.
They do. They are fantastic. And you see they hold really well together. Just want to show you. See, they just become solidified because of the coconut oil. And then you can put some desiccated coconut on top just to make it look pretty. The one thing is with these recipes, you have to like coconut. If you don't like coconut, then yeah, that's a shame. So that's the end result.
Beautiful. Well, they do look absolutely delicious. Yeah, I'd love to have
full of fiber, full of goodness, very good for your gut. So a very, very healthy chocolate muffin.
Excellent, Leonie. Absolutely fantastic. So there are two wonderful dishes there. I think that the key thing is to have the ingredients, to be prepared to get those ingredients and have them in your cupboard. And then, of course, you've got them in the cupboard whenever you need them. And you know, as I said, I've had my first go at these crackers, but it won't be my last. And I'm sure that over time I will perfect the process, and they're going to be a great alternative to my, you know, Ryvita, because they are so nutritious, as is everything that you show us. It's wonderful. So thank you, Leonie. Thank you again. Have we got any thoughts about next week?
I thought maybe, yeah, something with chicken, like a chicken curry maybe.
Right. Perfect.
We haven't done yet before, and maybe a savory snack, tuna bites. People like that. That
sounds absolutely wonderful. I had some chicken in my freezer, and I got out, it was a chicken breast. I got it out yesterday, and I was thinking, I haven't been shopping for a few days, and I've got nothing. How am I going to cook this chicken? I've just got a lump of chicken. And I've made some butternut squash soup. And what I did in the end, I had some onion. I fried some onion and I cooked the chicken. And then I added a spoonful of the soup to make a sauce. And then I ate it with rice, and it was delicious.
It is very nice. What you can do is with butternut squash, put ginger in it as well. That makes it nice. My butternut milk,
Sorry to interrupt you. My butternut squash has ginger in it. It has chili in it. And it has garlic and onion in it. And I also add, at the end, I add a dollop of peanut butter, and I liquidize it all with a stick liquidizer thing. And so it's a smooth soup, and it's absolutely delicious. So it's actually got a fair amount of, you know, fat and protein, and then, you know, all the vitamins and minerals and everything that's in the other bits and pieces. So that mixed with my chicken and a bit of onion was actually really lovely. And I was so proud of myself. I thought Leonie would be so proud of me. You know,
I'm applauding you. You can take my place soon. We swap places.
No way, no way in a million years. I don't know whether you remember or ever saw it, but years ago there was a wonderful program called Butterflies, and it was Wendy Craig, and she was married with 2 teenage children. She was an absolutely dreadful cook, and they showed her often following a recipe, and it would look beautiful, you know, she'd be watching a television program with a recipe, and at the end of it you'd see her effort, which was terrible, a pile of you know, and she'd scrape it into the bin and stand there and go, you know, like, I'm hopeless at this. And I feel a bit like Wendy Craig a lot of the time in Butterflies, but it's because I don't pay attention to it. I don't give it time, I don't give it attention, and I don't particularly enjoy it. And it's my own fault. And I'm only cooking for me, so it never really matters very much. But you are encouraging me, and I hope a lot of the people that are watching this, to try some new things, to think about health always in relationship to what we're eating, which is the really key message. And also you're showing me, you know, really clearly how easy a lot of this is. Once you've got the ingredients, you have to have the ingredients. Once you've got the ingredients, it's...
Can I just say something about that? A lot of cooking is in the planning and the preparation and having the right ingredients. Now, some of the ingredients that I have shown you today, you might not have in your cupboard, but once you have them in your cupboard, you will use them, and they will come back regularly in recipes like the erythritol, like the gluten-free oats, like the almond flours. I'm always very conscious when I buy it that I will make sure that I use it up, because I don't like throwing food away. Plus that it is so much better for you than any chocolate muffin that you buy in the shops. It's low in sugar, and as we said, it's full of goodness. So
Yeah.
by making some simple tweaks and changes, you can make a lot of difference to your health.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Leonie. Again, I'm going to recommend your book. I know you're waiting for some new copies of that to come in, but anybody that wants to buy the book, order the book. Leonie's got envelopes ready to pop that book in early next week. I think you said when those books come back into stock for you. So do go ahead. If you would like a book, do go ahead and order it, because you will get it very shortly. So thank you, Leonie. I look forward to seeing you next week.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and you've inspired us all once again. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Tricia. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Leonie.
Bye. Bye-bye.